Hi, I'm Sonya White Jaguar. Welcome to this edition of White Jaguar Wednesdays, my semi-monthly series where I discuss spiritual subjects inspired by your questions. Because there have been some terrible conflicts in the world this year, I was asked on two separate occasions if I would ask Alan Rickman to talk about why humans are so violent. Why do we respond with war and conflict and destruction instead of working out our differences peacefully? If you've been reading book 2 of From Actor to Healer, Alan Rickman's New Life as a Spirit Guide, one of several free books that I have on Wattpad, you may have read the chapter titled Why People Get Lost in Darkness, chapter 17. In that chapter, I talked about the awful mass shooting that had happened here in Las Vegas back in 2017. A man had fired into the crowd at a country music festival from a hotel room window at Mandalay Bay across the street. 58 people died and around 800 people were injured. It was the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. At the time, I spoke with Alan about violence in the context of that incident, and I included that material in Chapter 17. A link to all of my books is below. So what I'd like to do today is first to share that channeling session for those of you who haven't read it yet. And I also asked Alan to expand on that discussion and talk about violence specifically as it relates to the conflicts that we're seeing around the world right now. And so I'll share that session too. Okay, so here's what I had written in the book about the shooting first. Okay. While working at my computer, I invited Alan to join me and asked if we could talk about violence. I asked him, did you know beforehand the shooting was going to happen? He said, I had some knowledge it was going to take place. I didn't know the details, but I knew I would be asked to share energy healing with large numbers of people after a terrible tragedy. I asked, why are humans violent? Is it biological? Is it in our DNA? He said, this is a complex question. I know you want to know why people commit mass shootings and if there's any way to stop it. I want to stop it too, but there is no way to do so. All the prayers in the world can't stop it. People have free will. That's where the answer to your question begins. I can promise you that these shooters are not destined to commit these atrocities. They all happen as a result of free will. Out of curiosity, I asked him, what about the victims? On some level, do they choose to be involved, or are they just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Is it random? Alan said, there is a vibration of attraction. You understand vibration. People are attracted to a particular place at a particular time. Usually this is unconscious, like at a supermarket or another public place. People are not choosing to participate in a mass shooting. But the ones present are there because of a vibration of attraction to that place at that time. It has nothing to do with attraction to a violent event. I know this is difficult to understand because the attraction doesn't take place on the level of the conscious mind. I pondered this for a moment and said, I'm thinking about how a river flows. There may be a bottleneck at certain points along the river. Do mass casualty events happen in a place where there's a bottleneck of energy? Is that an accurate analogy? He said, not exactly. You understand there is a flow of energy, and that's important to acknowledge. I asked, as healers, is there more we can do to open up these energy flows around the world and prevent mass casualty events? He said, yes and no. I appreciate your question, but the solution is more complicated than this. Karma plays a role, but that's only part of the story. Karma can be individual, societal, planetary, and species specific. It's complicated. As a healer, you would do well to clear the karma after a mass shooting. Left alone, the residual energy can linger for 20 years or more. That's not to say that the energy left in the wake of a mass shooting causes other mass shootings, but clearing the energy speeds up the healing process and makes way for better opportunities in that area. I asked, did the man who committed this mass shooting have a karma with Las Vegas or that specific location? Or was he killed in a past life and now was this a reciprocation? Alan said, no, there's a lot more to that story. He sacrificed himself and all those people for darkness. He made a deal with darkness. not on the soul level before incarnating. He didn't choose any of this beforehand, but he made a series of choices while here incarnating that sealed his fate, so to speak. He was walking a path laid out for him by spirits who intended to cause harm. Darkness knows how to disguise itself as light and goodness. He truly believed that he was performing a service to humankind by committing mass murder. That's the power of the dark side of humanity. It's a force in humanity that can't be extinguished. It's part of the human soul. We incarnate to experience both the light and dark in human form. Unfortunately, sometimes this plays out through acts of violence. It's tragic and horrific, but the force itself cannot be eradicated from the human psyche. You can prevent heinous acts from occurring, but first you must recognize the warning signs. I asked, are dark entities always involved in events like this? He said they can be and often are. Healers who have the skill to clear malicious spirits need to be aware of this. But not all mass shootings involve disembodied beings. Some are solely due to misunderstandings, tempers flaring, chemical imbalances in the brain, propaganda, and misinformation. Realize that animals also will lash out at one another for territory and mating rights. But I will say this, deep-seated anger and the uncontrollable urge to cause bodily harm to a stranger, where feelings of utter hopelessness, abandonment, and forlornness have led to the desire for self-harm, these are the forces of darkness. These are the forces that can lead to mass casualty events. Everyone who commits a mass shooting has an underlying desire for self-harm. People cannot hurt others in such a violent way without first having violent thoughts against their own being. As a healer, you would do well to check your clients for the desire for self-harm and clear that frequency during your sessions if you see it. Okay, so that's what we talked about after the shooting. Now I'll share what Alan said about the recent conflicts. I channeled this from him while sitting at the computer one morning. I know it's very difficult to look at the violence of war and mass killings and suffering all over the world. You are not separate from the goings-on around you, whether they take place halfway around the globe or in your own neighborhood. The internet provides no escape. It's there for all to see. As I've stated before, violent forces are part of the human psyche, and they cannot be eradicated. They can be tamed and channeled into less harmful endeavors. You all have it within your power to choose to do so. Let world events be a mirror to help you decide how to live your life. What do you tell yourself about your life's achievements? Do you hold yourself in high esteem and praise your efforts? Do you feel that you did the best you could in various situations? Or do you still harbor regrets? Do you wish for things to have gone differently? You cannot change the past. Wars happen because the drivers of the conflicts can't release the past. This is very difficult to do on any level, personal or societal. So I'm not placing blame as such. I just simply want you to see my perspective from where I am now. Much of war is driven by the past. Past actions, past hurts, old wounds, unsolved crises, misunderstood motivations. It's amazing human civilization is still standing, to be honest with you, based on all I've seen over the centuries. But the human heart beats on. I don't want you to take personal blame or think that this is your responsibility, that you didn't pray hard enough or send enough Reiki. It's far beyond that. Where you can take responsibility is to look at your own life and agree here and now to release old hurts. Stop the war within yourself. You cannot change the past. You cannot unhurt people you hurt decades ago. What you can do is live your life from a place of honor, meaning honor the people who are in your life, honor the experiences you had, honor the lessons you learned, and honor the awareness you have today. And use your current wisdom to make new choices. Choose not to harbor old resentments any longer. When conflicts happen in your life, make the conscious choice to make peace with them. Tell yourself you did the best you could, and let the situation go. That's the best advice I can give you. I cannot explain why every war has happened. That would take days, and it's not necessary. What is important is to live your life from a place of peace and understanding. Let that be the banner you wave in the street, so to speak. Okay, so that's what Alan had to say. Now I'd like to bring him in, as I've been doing during these videos, and let him send healing energy to all of you to help you, as he said, to honor your life experiences and make peace with them. Okay, so go ahead and make yourself comfortable, and I'll ask Alan to join us. Okay, I'm asking for Alan Rickman, the British actor who died in 2016. Alan, would you please come and send healing energy to all the viewers of this video to help them to release any violence in their soul, and so that they can be at peace, all in the highest and best way. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Alan. I could feel that. I hope that you felt that too. I could feel like a very deep cleansing. I could feel like flames of fire, like just flowing out of me, cleansing me. So thank you very much, Alan. Thank you always for your healing energy. Okay, well, I have more questions to answer. So if you found this video helpful, subscribe to my channel so that you'll be notified when the next video is posted. You can also sign up for my newsletter on my website, SONYAWhiteJaguar.com, and get notified that way. I send out newsletters twice a month. They contain inspirational messages from Alan and exclusive sneak peeks at my books in progress. If you have a question that you would like answered in a future video, feel free to leave a comment below or email me at sonya@SONYAWhiteJaguar.com. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.